Hi, it's Ron from the Bob Sphere, and it's time for another monthly wrap up. Last time I noticed I touched my nose a lot during the video, so I'm not going to do that. As you can see, it is a sweltering July. The fan is off, dusty fan, but it makes so much noise that I wouldn't be able to, you wouldn't hear me. So anyway, it was a very good reading month. 19 books read, 6 DNFs, but those were all at the end of the month. So it was like from 1st June till around 27th. It was just one great hit after the other. One disappointing one, which is good too. Okay, so let's start in no particular order. So we've got A Good Year by Police Loiseau. I read his previous book, it should be written here, The Way, a second novel, The Way It Breaks. I enjoyed that. This is even better in my opinion. This is about Cypriot. I'm thinking the sun is a bit annoying. Let's see. Hold on. Anyway, I never edit because if I do, nothing will get done. I think that's a bit better. But now it looks grainy, so let's try half off. Not bad. Not as grainy. Anyway, it's about Cypriot traditions during Christmas time. What happens is that there's a pregnant woman and she wants to give birth after the visit of the three kings. That means it would be good luck. At the same time, her husband starts an affair with a British not naturalist, not nationalist. It was a married male. So it's a queer novel. It's very good. And those typical fair light moderns. It's a good read. Okay, next. I finished the Inspector Galo series. These are all by Mark Camilleri. This is the second book, Violent, third book, Next, and the fourth book, Elias. Then they get better. The quality improves. So this was good. This is even better, and this is the strongest. So I would suggest this is definitely the best. Maltese is good. The plot is good. It involves religious cults. It's a bit funny in places, and it gives more insight to the main detective, Gallo. The other two are good, but not as strong as this. This one is quite a complicated mystery. It's solved quite cleverly. Involves a footballer. It's good. It's good. A bit puerile in ways. It's not a follow up to the first one. Anyway, they're okay. They're okay. But Elias is the recommended one. Next is this, the Jacques Lacan Foundation. I don't want to say too much. The review will be coming out on Tuesday on the blog. All I can say is that Susan Finley is a wicked writer, and this time her pen is jabbed at intellectuals, and does a great job. Yes, that is Kate Moss, and it is relevant to the book. That's all I'm going to say. Next. Okay, I hated, not I hated, that's too strong. I did not really like Northern Lights. But I thought if I bought this, which is a prequel, maybe my appreciation for the Northern Lights trilogy, his Dark Materials trilogy, will actually improve. And it's true. This is a brilliant prequel. I loved reading this. I couldn't put it down. I just was hooked. It's one of those books where, you just have to read it everywhere. You have to sneak in a read. It was like that for me. If there weren't any stronger books, this would have been the book of the month. But it goes to show how good my June was. Anyway, it's about a boy who has a canoe called Le Belle Sauvage, and he has to make a voyage. Make a voyage? Is that good English? Anyway, he has to go through a flooded London in order to meet a professor who's going to enlighten him. On the way, he has a housekeeper and the baby Lila, who appears in the rest of his Dark Materials. So, and we got the start of her magic powers, etc., and her relevance to the books. Ideally, I would like to read the rest after this, but my reading is dictated by a jar. So, whatever the jar chooses, I read. But just saying, I have now the whole trilogy, and I've got as well the second part of this. They're all waiting there. Now, let's see what the jar says. Highly recommended. If you did not get into Northern Lights, then I do start with this. It puts everything in perspective. And it's well written. This is another gem, East Coast Road. This is about a girl who sees visions, she sees dead people. And as well, she makes a sort of journey to and fro the east part of England. And then there comes revelations, and they're of a sociological nature, without giving that much away. I really like the way it was written as well. I like the way it slowly unfolded. I like the way it dropped clues so that the reader knows what's going on, but not entirely. Brilliant. And I did buy her other book, Tainted Love. It's by Bloomers. All the best books I read this month were by independent publishers. There's another one. Pretty good jar. I said, okay, let's get all the independent publishers for Rob. So this is by Galley Beggar Press, one of their earlier novels, The Weightless World. It's about a failed businessman and his PRO, public relations officer, who go to India to invest in an anti-gravity machine. It is as great and weird as that it is, trust me. The PR, public relations guy, is very skeptical and he thinks they're on a fool's errand, but then there's a lot of startling discoveries. It's kind of a science fiction book for people who don't like science fiction. It's written in an interesting way, and again, it drops little bits and hints. For example, first we'll say a sentence, and then we'll go to a major flashback back explaining that sentence. I really enjoyed that. So this was great. Another good one. This is by Pushkin. See, the indies always rule. So this is one of Miko Kawakami's books, not one of her early ones. I would say this came after Breast and Eggs, if I'm not mistaken, or even after the one that was nominated for the Booker. I forget what it was called. Yeah, it just slipped my mind completely for the International Booker. Anyway, this is about a boy who not fantasizes, who starts adoring this woman who sells sandwiches, and then he starts making discoveries about himself. It's a very slim book, but it's powerful and it's really well translated. Oh yeah, translation was by Louise Field Kawai. Do I have any other translations in the file? No. Okay, so that's good. I always mention translation. Sure. Here's another one, Almost by Amy Rao. It's another good one. This time, in her last book, she wrote about love and analyzed it. This one is about grief. Blue. It's about a father who loses his daughter, and it goes into all the psychological depths, and it's philosophical because it involves Barth. Now, what does Barth have to do with grief? Read the book and find out. It's done very well. Fairlight. Now, this is the only disappointing one, and it was by an indie press. It doesn't mean that major presses are not disappointing. But anyway, it's Bat of a Lake. This is just a monologue by a kind of certain type of person, a soldier or general, who goes to Batva Lake in Kosovo. And, it was weak. I expected better. This was an hour read, and I didn't really get that much out of it. It just shows a certain type of viewpoint and dialect, and as writing goes, it's great, but I wanted more. Part of the backlist challenge. There should have been more, but I am waiting. The way that I work with my backlisted books of the backlist challenge is that when one arrives, I don't read it until the next one arrives because there's a whole list of books. Sounds complicated, but not really. So this is All the Devils Are Here. This is by David Seabrook. This we would call a psychological journey. The author goes to Blackpool and, in a Seaboldian way, or actually like Ian Sinclair, but I've never read Ian Sinclair, so I have to say Seaboldian. In a Seaboldian way, he makes all these connections. How a carry on actor, for example, is connected to a seaside village, which is connected to a murder. It goes on like that. How Dickens is connected to some dirty underdoings through some relatives of his. It's very good. I feel like Sebald. I feel like weird connections done seamlessly. Then this is the book for you. I think it's constantly going in and out of print. This one's an out of print version I got from all the books. Okay, this probably would be my book of the month, my Cat Yugoslavia, and I'm going to butcher the name, so Pajtim, or is it Pajtim? I don't know if the J has a Y sound. Pajtim Statovci, and translated by. Really put the translators on the cover. I think Pushkin are doing it now, though. Translated from the Finnish by David Haxton. Excellent. It's about a man who lives a hedonistic gay life, but as well he has this pet snake, and then in a surreal twist, a cat comes and becomes a dom sub relationship, but also we get some bits in the past about his family and how they immigrated from Kosovo to Finland and about the culture clashes. So it's about the immigration experience for one thing, and it's about also queer love. This is the first book I read, and it started Pride Month, so yeah, I started off quite well. I loved it. It's a little bit messy, but I don't care. It was a brilliant book. So readable, punchy. You won't put it down. Highly recommended. In fact, I bought two other books, Bolla and Crossing. I'm just trying to that. Okay, The High Window. This is another backlisted one by Raymond Chandler. It's a typical Chandler mystery. Well, actually, untypical because it's his move into a more literary world. Let's put it that way. It's about a person with a coin that gets stolen, and the detective. Oh my God, Philip Marlowe. How could I forget that? Philip Marlowe's on the case, and he finds some red herrings and twists and turns, but he discovers who did it. Very good. It's excellent. If you've never read Raymond Chandler before, I do suggest this one is your first. Another one, Maltese Antoinette Borch Regenerazioni. Another mystery, but I would say this is very light. This was like a one sitting read. It was very fun. It's a multi perspective mystery. A person slips on oil on a motorcycle, and a group of 16s watch it, witness it, and they both start figuring out that maybe it wasn't an accident. That's all. It does have social issues in it, just like that, and that's it. Okay, so now for the first time, I'm gonna itch that. Do that to my nose, but I promise I won't do it again. Now, Jade Willet Green. Sorry, Jade Leaf Willets. My bad. The Green Indian Problem. This is a trans narrative, and from a child's narrative. So, the main character is Green, who's a boy, but everyone says that he is a girl, even though he insists. And it talks about how we tend to put genders on certain things like dolls and football, how a trans child will feel inside, and but it does other things as well. There's a mystery at the end of the book. Some mysteries this month, and then it talks about other things like abuse, uh, being how a divorce can affect a family, how a trans child can feels, in a classroom. So it's quite good. It's funny. It's very funny, and it's written in a very I wouldn't say light, but it's a breezy way, despite the seriousness of the topics, which is a talent. So yeah, there's going to be a follow up. The author is writing a follow up, so I am looking forward to that. That's by Rainer Press, another indie. Okay, Kim Jong, born in 1982 by Cho Namju, if I'm pronouncing it properly. And translator should be over here. Yeah, by Jamie Chang. It's on the cover. Well done. This one opened my eyes. This is about the role of women in South Korea, and at times it's shocking. It the role does change over the years, but it also gets contested a lot. Considering what's happening in the world today, I wouldn't say these rules are now limited to South Korea. It's all over. Or at least what we see in the news. Let's put it that way. Women are still being oppressed, they're still being treated badly, they're still underpaid. The fight against this, that's what she says in the book. And it's done very well. I like the way it's plotted. you can tell that there was a lot of research. In fact, it does quote non-fiction sources, but it's definitely worth a read if you want your mind to be opened. Short story collection. This is by Dix's Press, a publisher I really like. They've never let me down so far. This is Chocolate Cake for Imaginary Lives by Genevieve Jenner. These are about 40 stories, all about food. I like eating. I haven't seen my tummy, but maybe one day. No, that sounds weird, doesn't it? But anyway, I eat and I have a big tummy. It shows. But I like reading about food, and these are all about it. Whether it's brownie recipes or the dead pigeon story in the beginning, which is an excellent way to open a book. You find something you like. I would say this is the spiritual heir to like Water for Chocolate, except in short story format. Reminds me a lot. I don't like making book comparisons. And last is a rock biography, Good Pop, Bad Pop by Jarvis Cocker. Pop is one of my favorite bands. Definitely a very important one when I was a teenager because I like Jarvis Cocker's lyrics. I followed his career since. Has two solo albums and his collaborations. Actually, technically four solo albums. His new project Jarvis, things he's produced. And it's quite an innovative biography. So what Jarvis does is he goes to his loft and sees certain materials and then talks about their significance in pulp's history. Some do, some are purely ephemera, some are very important. Like this is the science book was where he laid out all the groundwork for pulp. There's a lot of color, pictures, things like that. And it stops exactly when he goes into St. Martin's College. We know what song he wrote about that, so I'm assuming there is a second volume, and I am looking forward to it. This is, even if you don't like pulp, this is definitely worth a read because Jarvis Cocker is a very charming writer. It comes out. It's funny in places, especially the controlled fall. I did laugh at places. It's really good. And that's it. 17 minutes, not too bad. So, like I said, it was a great reading month. Next, I'm reading Young Mungo, and I am loving it. Booker's season's coming, so maybe, well, not maybe. I'm gonna promise that there'll be more videos in the future. Then I'll write something about each one. Hopefully. How was your month? Give me a like, subscribe. I'd like to get this to 500 and 500 subscribers. I need 75 more, so I can do a Q&A. Okay, that's all I have. Bye.